The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chit Chatting with Jocelyn. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and I'm so glad that you could join me today. We have a very, very special guest today. It's going to, I say it all the time, it's going to blow your mind, but it's true. I have a very special lady here. Her name is Marylyn Todd. Some of you may recognize the name, some of you may not, but she is a very special person that has done what so many of us think about doing, but can't follow through for whatever reason, not because you don't want to, but circumstances don't allow you to. Marylyn is going to talk to us about the ballots, the tapes that come out of the optical scanners that count your ballots. What is the hoopla about these tapes? Why is it so important that we, the people, we, the voters, we, the citizens of New Hampshire, know what these tapes mean? What does this have to do with everything that's going on in the United States? We're going to keep it here to New Hampshire, but we need to find out, what do these tapes really mean? What are we talking about? What do we know? How many people have helped to move this process along? It's tied to the Windham event, and then we're going to talk about that for about half the show, and then we're going to talk with Marylyn and what happened when she went to go get the optical scanner tapes from Nashua. I got mine from Amherst, and I think I was one of the first people that got them to Marylyn and found the anomalies, and she was off and running from that point, and then actually herself went to Nashua, and we'll let her tell you that. But welcome to the show, Marylyn.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you're here. I know you're crazy, crazy busy with, I don't know, what?
243 towns that we're trying to coordinate.
243 towns, and their tapes, coordinating. So, little backstory into Windham, and then tell me how you got started. I mean, I had heard from Ken that they needed these tally tapes, and I went and got them. So take us from Windham into that part, and how you're getting the tapes and what you're doing with them.
Okay, so Windham really bothered me when I saw in February an article dated in November that there was the 4 Republicans were shorted 300 votes each. And I said to myself, how is this not national news? I own a house in Windham. How did I not hear about this? And so, and then it just spiraled from there. And I started, getting involved, and, went to the first Windham event. And, I was really upset at at WMUR and places that are supposed to
report the news, tell us what's going on.
And I own a house in Windham, and for me to not know about this when I've been following elections since November, and it just really bothered me. And so after watching a few interviews from Dr. Strang and Ken, I noticed that there was something with the tapes, and that's how out of 4 tapes, there was one that showed the opposite results of all the other 3. And so, then someone sent me a link and to a video to watch. And in 2018, in Georgia, the same exact situation happened, except for it was the Democrats that were that the machine was off from, and no one investigated any further. Just left it alone in 2018. And we used very similar scanner machines that Georgia had. I think Georgia's were called TS, ours are called OS, AccuVote OS. So very minimal changes, and that's what gave me the inclination. There is both times. the machine was able to detect an opposite result compared to what the other averages
Right.
produced. And so that's when I got the idea, we need every machine tape in New Hampshire.
Okay.
You know, and
I went and got mine. I took that request seriously.
yes.
And I got, which is the same thing I gave you. So
Yep.
this would be the first tape from the first machine. This would be the tape from the second machine. This would be the tape from the third. And obviously it's not that short. You do this and that's how long it is.
Correct.
And I sat down quickly, having no idea, like you, like, okay, I understand the machines are off, but I wasn't thinking this kind of off.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, oh, okay, one battery or it got unplugged or something happened, and so that machine had less than the other ones, and that was why. So and they don't go around saying that, oh, the machine was broken or something. I was just thinking along those lines, as I think millions of people did. Or that, you know, we started with 3 machines and then a lot more people came in after work and we put the 4th machine up, or the 4th machine was for absentee ballots. I mean, there's a million different scenarios that you could use. So that's what I was thinking. I'm sure you were too. And I look at this and I go, wait a minute. I mean, all I did was literally go date, all the way across. Okay. Precinct, precinct, precinct. Okay. Download version 1, download version 1, download version 6. Mm-hmm. Why would you have a different download version?
Yeah.
Why would it not be 111?
Yep.
And we won't say the other thing,
Yeah.
because that's bad luck. Why would there be a difference? So there's my first question. My second question is, so I'm looking at the date when they close out the machines, when at the end of the night, and I'm looking at 11 p.m. on 10/23. But at the top, the voting day is 11/3.
Yeah.
So then I go to the next machine, they match 11/3, 11/3. The next machine, 11/3, 11/3, they match. The first one doesn't. There's my second question. So then I start going across and I see first machine, second machine, and the Democrat, and I'll just say low, low, high. So low, low, high. And then the Republican was high, low, low. And then every Democrat race was low, low, high, the exact same machines, and the Republican was always high, low, low.
Correct.
So there's my next, oh my God.
Yeah.
So then I'm adding up and I'm going, wait a minute, and this has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican, it's just simply how it's laid out on their tapes, not mine. Mm-hmm. The third machine was double the second and double the first.
And with opposite results.
Yep. And then you go to the Republican, it's not double the second and it's not double the third. It's like a couple hundred more.
Yep.
And you can say, okay, well, they didn't have as many votes. Okay. But why is it in every single race, on every single machine? And when I give those to you and you see other ones, you're seeing similar, maybe not the same.
Correct.
But similar. So just in me and sitting down in 30 minutes found 8 questions that I didn't understand.
Yep.
So, we're not giving anything away, but you're in the process of getting all these tapes. How has that been?
So there's 243 towns in New Hampshire, and there's Laverne from Amherst. Mm-hmm. Amazing. She's so helpful. So I wish everybody was like Laverne.
Yeah.
And, and there's so many good town clerks, but some of them are refusing to give us the information, telling us 90 days. I had this really nice guy today that's been driving around New Hampshire collecting some tapes.
Wow.
And he, wrote me and he was like, this lady was so mean to me. She wouldn't answer any questions. She was very upset about this process. And the thing that bothers me is that I started this because I was concerned that our representatives weren't working for we the people. And now that I'm getting to the town level, the town people are still not working for we the people. Mm-hmm. And, that really bothers me, because if we want a transparent New Hampshire, then we have to be about we the people, because you're involved in, even the town clerk is we the people. The
Correct.
Representatives are we the people. We're all we the people. Mm-hmm. And public information should be exactly that, public information. And we shouldn't need to about my situation, and we'll get into that more, but we shouldn't have to feel like we're doing something wrong by asking our towns for public information. And anything about the election should be very
open and transparent. Yep.
And exactly, there should be no secrets when you're talking about the vote. And being in finance for 20 years, I started when I was 18, so 18 years I've been in finance, and the almighty dollar, and I've said this many times, the almighty dollar is 10 million times more protected than our Constitution, than our vote, than anything. As I'm auditing, because what I'm used to is I need to find flaws in the system. And as I'm going through every part of the audit, I'm finding all kinds of flaws in our system, from the ballots themselves and who's accountable for them, to the, like, say if we have a recount, someone from the Secretary of State's office comes and picks up the ballots with red tape around it. And it was stated last night by Professor Stark that you can buy red evidence tape on the internet, and so... And
it's not super sticky.
Exactly. And imagine that being millions of dollars. Would we put red tape around it and send it to one office?
No, we wouldn't.
No. And 243 towns have a better chance of being... And that's what our forefathers designed. They designed it like this. 243 towns are, you have a better chance, you have 243 chances of having integrity-driven people, as opposed to one person at the Secretary, well, not one, but in one office at the Secretary of State. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with the Secretary of State. What I'm saying is if there would ever be anything wrong in the Secretary of State's office, it's very easy to take red tape off, replace the box, replace the red tape, and
Well, I've heard stories from people a little bit older than me, and saying that ballots were taken up to the state, and that the big safe was not opened, and they were left with the red tape outside of the door of the safe. But it's okay, the building was locked.
Yeah.
Again, I really like your point and your analogy that if that was money, would we treat it so lightly? Would we be so cavalier and uncaring? This is our vote. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican, it doesn't matter whether you're undeclared, it doesn't matter if you're a libertarian. Your vote matters. Our vote matters.
And voting is more important than money. You cannot put money on a vote. Those votes, and I think I said this, Enron. Every accountant has to learn about Enron because of what it happened to the market, and, the government went through everything that happened with a fine tooth comb. If I have lunch with somebody that I'm auditing, I will be arrested. And they went through it. And if we take the same approach that the government took to Enron, and we took that to our
local voting, state voting, and national voting,
we would never have an issue ever again.
Right.
Ever.
I think that's a really valid point. So let's jump to you jumping in with both feet into the fire, because you put in a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA.
Right to know.
Right to know. Thank you. Right to know. For the same tally tapes, the ballot tapes from Nashua. You sent in the form, you gave them the business days, they agreed to it. You made an appointment because of COVID. The appointment was verified. You got in your car, you went down to get them on that Friday, and you double checked the appointment. You double checked the FOIA, and everything was all good. You got to the door of the Nashua City Hall, and what happened?
And I was greeted because they were expecting me. So as soon as I walked in, they were like, they said hi, and I was like, oh, I'm here to collect, the election information. And she's like, oh, Marylyn Todd. And I was like, yep. And so she said, I'll be right with, I'm going to go get the town clerk, and she'll be right with you. So the town clerk and somebody from the town came out with her, and she was like, we needed to send it to legal legal said that we're not allowed to release it yet. And I said, okay, well, I'll wait for it. So then there was a little bit more of the conversation, but that's legitimately the gist of the whole entire conversation. And so after I said, okay, well, I'll just wait for it for when it's ready, I'll be sitting right here waiting. She, went to the side to her friend and was like, call the police. Never told me to leave. Never told me. I had no inclination that it had to escalate that much. I have no idea. So
That's
I'm just
sickening.
baffled.
Again, the People's City Hall.
Yes. Yep. And I pay $10,000 a year in Nashua. That's a lot of money. And my kids haven't been in school for a year. So what is my tax dollars going to
for?
when I am not getting anything from it? I can't even be at City Hall.
Wow. So this person next to her calls the police. Then what happens?
And so then the police come and, they have no idea about the Windham incident. And, I'm just explaining what's going on. And, he's like, you have to make an appointment. I said, I called them this morning and told them that, that I was going to, they knew that I was here to come pick up the documents and that the town clerk wasn't going to be here till 12. I told them that I'd be there at 1. If the town clerk had an hour to call me back and be like, hey, the information's not ready, don't come. I never got a phone call. I can prove my phone records that will show that no one ever tried to call me, but I definitely had an 8-minute phone conversation with them that morning saying that the records were going to be available for me to pick up. And so the police were like, so I kept asking the police, I was like, if you keep saying I need to make an appointment, come with me and make an appointment. Because at this point, they refused to continue any further discussions about an appointment. So I wanted the police to hear them say that. So the police ended up leaving. And as they were leaving, they saw me walk back inside. This is all on video evidence from the City Hall. Yeah. Literally saw me walk back in. So if anybody told me to leave, I would have been arrested right then and there.
Correct.
And
but you're also get a warning and you're allowed to leave.
Exactly.
You don't get a warning and they arrest you right there. That's not what the police do.
I have 3 small kids. The last thing I want to do is be arrested.
Right, or cause any problems.
And if the cop said to me, if you don't leave, you'll be arrested, I'm not,
you would have left.
I would have 100% left.
But he said, get an appointment. So you go back in to make an appointment. So I go back in and
I make an appointment. And so I call and mind you, I'm inside because, I don't want to, disrupt anybody or, so I call and I was like, hey, you told the police I need to make an appointment. I need to make an appointment. And they're like, we're not making one with you. And I was like, you just told the police that I need to make an appointment. Like, I don't understand what's going on. They hung up the phone on me. While I was still in City Hall, there's a person at the end of the hallway because it's, I guess,
guarded.
Yeah. Yeah. So I asked her for legal's number because, mind you, they said that the reason why they couldn't release public information is because, which, mind you, 91A states that you are not allowed to turn anybody away for a right to know during business hours. You're not allowed to. The only 2 reasons why you are allowed to deny anybody is if it's being viewed or if it's unavailable at that time,
and yours was ready because they said it was ready, but it was had to be processed by legal.
Exactly. So I called the city attorney, and basically he informed me that the documents would be ready on Monday. So I was like, okay. And I'm sitting there talking to him. I walk outside during our conversation. So I'm outside, and then all of a sudden, the police show up again. Mind you, I'm outside talking to the city attorney.
Same guys?
Nope. Different guys. Different police.
Okay.
Yep. And so, I have the city attorney on the phone, and the city attorney tells me I did not tell them that they're not allowed to release that information to.
Really?
And yes, exactly. And I said to him, so you're not the one who said that I'm not allowed to see this information. He said, no, I never said that. And I'm really happy that he at least, was honest about that. I think that's very important.
No reason not to be.
Yeah. And so as soon as I hang up the phone, I'm talking to the police. They're very understanding. Again, don't know anything about the Windham incident. And They don't know anything about the Windham incident, so I'm explaining because my whole goal is to spread the truth. I want everybody to know.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
So one of the police that were inside talking to the city came outside, and he's like, City Hall said you were banging. And I said, I didn't touch one thing. I didn't touch one. Yeah, banging around. And I said, I didn't touch one piece of drywall. I didn't touch one door. I would never,
You're talking to the city attorney.
I am assertive, but I am not at all violent.
Right.
I'm not, I would just never be like that. I do use my words, but I would never act out. I mean, I'm a mother of 3. I'm an accountant. I am a professional, so it was just mine. So I asked him if I could turn on my phone and if I could record him saying that. So then as soon as I record him saying that, he agrees that City Hall said that twice. He says, yes, they said that. Yes, they said that. And then a minute later, he's like, well, actually, I didn't talk to the person on the phone. So as soon as I turned on my phone and started recording, he did confirm twice that City Hall said that. And then a second later was like, yeah, and then kind of retracted it. So, I'm just thinking they're going to be like, all right, just go home.
Right. Come back Monday.
Yeah. And I tell them, I don't plan on going back in. I have this all on video. I don't plan on going back in. And the cop was like, that's fine. You're okay as long as you just don't go back inside. And I said, I won't go back inside. I have no plans to go back inside.
But never use the words, do not trespass.
No, never. And mind you, I'm already outside at this point.
Yep.
No cop ever saw me inside, even the first cops or the second cops. I was outside both times.
Yep.
And so then the policeman, there was a policeman that showed up halfway through the second ordeal. Mm-hmm. And the policeman basically said to me that, I think he was a little confused about the situation because sometimes it takes my brain a second to process, and I don't like to assume,
Yep.
right? And I don't like to put words in other people's mouths. So he said, did the cops ask you to leave? And I just didn't, and they didn't. And I said no. And I listened to the video a few times, but I absolutely said no. They never said that. They said to make an appointment. They said to make an appointment. But I also wanted to just make sure I recapped because I don't, so I was like, I'll look at the video, but I'm pretty sure, and that was my exact words, I'll look at the video, but I know that they just said, and they watched me walk back in. So I know that they didn't say that, know? Mm-hmm. And so then he spoke to the town hall again and then came back outside. And I thought it was, I thought it was just going to be like, hey, okay, this is over, blah, blah, blah. And then they put me under arrest for criminal trespassing.
Wow.
And it was very, it was scary for me, and it really hurt my feelings. And because I have a lot of respect for,
of course you do,
for our uniform. The military is my babies. I love them, and I think of cops just like them.
Yep.
They're our domestic military, and I have a lot of respect for them. And it really hurt my feelings that.
I think what upsets you, and I want to stop you there only because it is an ongoing criminal investigation. So I'm as a police officer's wife, I'm going to say you just need to stop there.
Okay.
And I appreciate your honesty in that, and everything that we have heard. In fact, Doris Hohensee has written very accurate articles in the Granite Grok about this, and has checked with you every step along the way. I am very upset because it seems to me that Nashua City Hall is not telling the truth. Mm-hmm. I think they are fomenting issues where there are none. It seems to me that there's a couple of people that are just, they think they're all that in a slice of cheese, and they will destroy anybody to keep their little power gig.
And I think it's very important to note, I am the third arrest for right to know information in Nashua in the last 2 years.
Are all 3 of you women?
2 are women, and all of us have been, it's our first arrest.
Wow. I am truly sorry that happened to you, but I'm also very, very proud of you because you did what the rest of us have been doing that some of us cannot, but yours turned quite negative. Mm-hmm. And for really unbelievable reasons. You did everything right. You made the appointment, you gave them the FOIA, you double checked, you called in, you followed their instructions, and yet they still felt that you were some kind of a threat to them when in fact we the taxpayers pay their salaries. That is our city hall. And isn't it too bad that the mayor is not running the city appropriately? I definitely want to have you come back. I know this Monday there's going to be a big to-do up in Windham. And I don't think the show will be out in time, but we need everybody to show up and follow the Windham event. Look it up. Follow the Facebook page.
New Hampshire Voter Integrity Group.
Good. And you can follow what's being reported there. There's 5 of us that put out information, and we have tons of people following us. We all need to take back our towns, our cities, and our voting integrity.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you'd like people to do in our last minute and a half?
I just want people to know and remind them that it's so important that it goes back to we the people. And, you know, the teamwork in New Hampshire and how many people want just integrity all over the state and just transparency is incredible. And I'm truly humbled by the people that are driving around, you know, the people spreading the truth, the people planning events, the people, just everybody who's contributed in this is amazing. It's beautiful to see. And it's truly humbling to see, like yesterday, we had 10 drivers on the road all over New Hampshire.
Really?
Yep.
Going from town to town to pick up those ballot
the tapes. And I might cry because it's just so, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful.
What I like is it is what America is. With all that other garbage that we hear, this is what America is. This is what New Hampshire is. This is who we are.
Yep.
And all of us need to pull together we say voter integrity and it sounds really fancy, but you know what? We are all about the truth. We're about fact. We are about honesty. We're about all of us, we the people, working together. Our vote must count. It must be true and honest and clear. And you know what, New Hampshire? The state law says we must have paper ballots. We do. Never change that. You need to go to your town and make sure they are not buying any more machines and everything is a hand count from now on. Thank you for joining me, Marylyn. I appreciate it. And thank you for joining me, Jocelyn, on Chit Chatting.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.